ChatGPT Plus is free for college students through May. Here's the thing. You've got a lot to do between now and then. Studying for finals, writing papers, trying to keep your life on track, and ChatGPT can help with all of it. It can quiz you for your econ exam, make a study guide from your French notes, plan out your meals and study breaks. It can get really specific on how you like to learn. It can even help you come up with ways to stop procrastinating. So from now until summer break, take advantage of all the ways ChatGPT can make your life easier. Restrictions apply.
Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for this day.
In 2005, two brothers hit the road to fight monsters. That road has led them to fighting demons, angels, and saving the world.
It's a journey that is taking them to heaven, hell, and back. But they aren't done.
Join our journey as we go episode by episode, following the adventures of Sam and Dean Winchester. We break each episode down with the writers, producers, directors, crew, and actors to bring you the behind-the-scenes stories of how this legendary TV series was made. That guy right there, that's Rob Benedict. He played God and Chuck Shirley.
Hey, and that guy there, that's Richard Spade Jr. He played Gabriel, Loki, and the Trickster. And P.S., he directed a bunch of episodes, too.
Now, while we are insiders, we're also outsiders, because we're not experts. This is our first time watching the entire series, all 327 episodes.
Rich and I have met many of the fans at conventions around the world, and we are deepening our understanding of why you all love this series so much. Because it's really good.
Yeah, it is. Now listen, there will be spoilers, so consider yourself warned.
And thank you for joining us on this trip we call Supernatural Then and Now. Well, hello there. My name is Rob Benedict.
Hey, I'm Richard Spate, Jr.
And we're talking about Supernatural Season 7, Episode 11.
Wait, when you put those numbers together, what do they say?
7-11.
Like the place with the M&Ms?
Well, or the Slurpees. Or the big gulps.
Okay, now I get it.
No, there you go. See, stick with me. I'm good with the references. Hey, this episode is called Adventures in Babysitting.
Huh.
Yeah.
You know, just when you think you know a show,
they
name an episode Adventures in Babysitting. Matt, may I tell you something? A little off topic, but on topic?
Okay.
I thought for sure I was going to marry Elizabeth Shue.
Oh.
I was really, really locked in about that throughout my teen years. There was just one disconnect, and that was Elizabeth Shue.
You didn't know her.
Yeah, she wasn't in on the plan.
Yeah, she was really smoking hot.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And she had that sort of girl next door thing going.
Speaking of smoking hot, check out what's happening on Patreon. Last week, we released How to Win Friends and Influence Monsters as a full video podcast.
Oh my God.
We went full video.
That's the Elizabeth Shue of podcasts.
It's truly. Sign up for free, even if you're just Patreon curious.
Like I might be with Elizabeth Shue.
Exactly. And you'll get weekly emails from the podcast about...
Unlike the correspondence I get from Elizabeth Shue.
That's right.
Nothing. Radio silence.
That's right. About...
One letter from her lawyer asked me to stand down. You know what I mean? Like, okay.
But in this case, we're talking about Patreon, and you'll get weekly emails from the podcast about future guests and special Patreon events.
You know, his last name wasn't Shue. It wasn't Mr. Shue. I'm not sure why he was leaning in on this nonsense. None of his beeswax, if you ask me.
What if I was like, we've got you a shoe that you can take out on a date, and it's Andrew?
Be careful, Robbie. I might just dance for that devil. You know what I mean? If that's as close to Elizabeth Shue as I can get.
That's right.
Who am I to say no?
Yeah, and Andrew Shue is quite attractive.
Well, he was easy on the eyes.
Sure.
You know what's weird? What if they had replaced, Marty McFly's girlfriend, which they did. They replaced her in Back to the Future. It was one girl, and then in Back to the Future 2, they replaced her with Elizabeth Shue. What if they had replaced her with Andrew Shue? And Marty McFly dated Andrew Shue, but they weren't leaning in onto Marty McFly being gay. They just were making him be the girlfriend, like dress up like the girlfriend from the first Marty McFly.
Yeah.
Back to the Future.
Right. Are you ready for the summary, Mr. Shu?
Been waiting on you to start.
Lee Chambers has coffee at a truck stop diner and chats with his waitress, Marlene.
Sounds like Rob Benedict to me. Chatting with a waitress. Classic Rob. Are we sure his name's not Lee Benedict?
Could be. Marlene is his waitress, and he watches another woman, Sally, out the window. I mean, he's really watching her like Rich Spade. This is like Rich Spade at a diner, truly. Just
fair.
Eyeing the hot chick outside.
You're busy hitting on the waitress, and I'm staring at some chick out the window.
That's
yep,
right.
That tracks.
Lee Chambers is us. Lee exits the diner to follow Sally. He doesn't find her and starts to feel dizzy. Marlene appears, approaches him, and says she's poisoned him, and turns into a cat-like snake figure face.
Yeah, she has a real effed up set of teeth.
Yeah, and eyes that look like uncomfortable contacts.
Like cats.
Yeah, and she knocks him out. Elsewhere, weeks have gone by, and Sam and Dean had barely gotten over the concerns with Amy. Amy? Who's Amy?
What?
Who's Amy?
What the hell? They're still worried about Amy? I don't remember them being worried about Amy at this point. I thought we'd put her to bed. I think Steve's jerking us around.
He said Steve. That was a joke. Steve put a joke in there for me and
Steve, you son of a bitch. No, Amy was not part of the thought process or any emotional arc in this episode because they realized that was pointless.
Meanwhile, I completely put Amy out of my mind. I was like, Amy?
Oh, yeah, we both did. Well, we both went to that couples therapy session to have
we got it.
the whole stupid Amy storyline removed from our being.
We went to the hypnotist, hypnotist therapy. Well, now they're grieving the loss of Bobby. The brothers are trying to solve the mystery of the numbers Bobby passed to them while on his deathbed. Suddenly, a young girl looking for help calls one of Bobby's phones. Sam wants to find her. Dean wants to focus on solving the numbers with Frank, so they split up. The beer in Dean's beer bottle seems to have vanished, which is a little hint that maybe a ghost of Bobby.
That's what I took from it.
Yeah. I thought maybe we'd see a little bit of that. By the way, well, I'm still getting over that Bobby's dead.
I know, but we have to forge forward.
Okay. Sam finds the apartment where the young girl, Chrissy, is staying. She reluctantly decides to trust him and lets him in. I have to say, Sam, Jared played this really well. Not creepy. Like, it could have been creepy and actually wasn't creepy.
No, I thought he did a nice job.
Yeah. She says her father's been missing for days. Sam figures he's likely a hunter and finds some articles about disappearances in the father's closet. He goes to chase the lead and tells the girl he'll follow up in a few days.
By the way, I think the girl's great.
That girl was really good. I didn't look her up, but I was thinking, did this girl turn out to be... Is she an actress we've seen after this?
I don't know, man, but she's really good.
Yeah, has a great look. Meanwhile, Dean has tracked down Frank and starts working with him on the numbers. Frank eventually figures out there's a digit missing and discovers that they are coordinates to a location being developed by Richard Roman Enterprises. Frank and Dean have a contentious relationship. It's really funny. They're both fantastic. And
I like the way they started off.
Oh, man. Kevin McNally is so good, and it's very real, and I was drawn in. After a visit to the location, dressed as telephone repairmen, which is really funny, they figure they will tap into the feed of the existing cameras rather than set up their own surveillance. Dean as a telephone repairman was classic Dean comedy.
Yep.
In that truck there. Sam goes to the morgue and inspects the body of one of the victims. He calls Dean, but his brother has dozed off while Frank monitors the surveillance cameras. So he leaves a message saying he thinks he's dealing with a Vitala.
Yeah, Vitala.
He heads to the diner where Lee was last seen. He plays into Sally and Marlene's trap and ends up getting knocked out by them. And when you say knocked out, bitten on the neck, like...
Yeah, dude, he gets served.
I had a moment where I was like, wow, now Sam's dead again.
Yeah,
like, Bobby's dead, Sam's dead, everybody's dying.
End of show.
When he awakens, he's tied up in the same abandoned building as Lee. Sally and Marlene are the Vitalas, and they have been feeding on Lee and have started feeding on Sam. Dean finally awakes. So he's not dead, but you get like 4 feeds and then you die. So they're just sucking on his blood. Dean finally wakes up. Frank has news. He has footage of Amanda Willer in the field. Who's Amanda Willer? Don't really know yet.
I don't know, but she's cosplaying Castiel.
Yeah, she is.
I mean, when they showed the wide shots, they're like, oh, Cass is walking across the field.
Yeah.
Like they might have wanted to go with not the trench coat. I know it's a common piece of wardrobe, but it really is a miscue.
Yeah. Well, it turns out she loves the Dick. I mean, she works for Dick. And Frank tells Dean...
Robert?
To go kill...
Are you okay?
Well, no, it's just right there. And I know you can't make that joke because your name is Rich. But to me, that if your name was Larry,
Right.
and I said she works for Dick, you, Richard Spade, as Larry, would go to town on that sentence. She works for Dick. I just know
Yeah,
you would.
you know what I'd say if you said that? Say that sentence again.
She works for Dick.
Well, they should give her raise. That's what I would say.
Yeah, that's spoken like a guy who was raised Dick, has all the good comebacks. Frank tells Dean to go kill something to blow off some steam. He'll continue the surveillance. Dean realizes he missed a message from Sam. Suddenly, he gets a call from Chrissy, and she says Sam is missing. So Dean shows up at Chrissy's apartment. She insists, gun drawn, on going with Dean to investigate the missing Sam and Lee. She had a map, but memorized and burned it, so he needs her. Dean needs to find Sam. Dean knows that the Vitalas operate in teams, and Sam made a mistake in thinking they worked alone.
I don't want to downplay the Vitalas' impact as a monster in the series, but doesn't it sound kind of like a all-girls 1950s doo-wop band?
Yeah.
The Vitalas.
Yeah. How could you think it was one person? Of course, it's the duo. The Vitalas. They're the sisters.
Exactly.
He gets the upper hand on the monster. Dean and Chrissy go to the truck stop diner and see Sally and Marlene abduct another victim. The hunters follow the Vitalas to their secret location. Dean handcuffs Chrissy to the steering wheel so that he can confront the Vitalas. He gets the upper hand on the monsters, but Chrissy shows up and Sally grabs her. And I didn't think that was a great move by Chrissy. This was the only point in the episode where I thought it bumped a little bit. It just didn't feel...
Why? Because you didn't think Sam would be trapped so easily, or what?
Honestly, it was the blocking of Chrissy walking in and then the monster grabbing her. It just didn't feel forceful enough or something. It felt like I could...
Not enough confrontation?
I could just tell they were like sort of like being gentle with the girl actress, and it just didn't feel... I don't know. It felt... It felt kind of after school special all of a sudden. She kind of grabs her by the shoulder and like, hey, I didn't really feel scared like she was going to get killed or anything.
Got it.
You know what I'm
Got it. Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay, I got it. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just the stakes didn't feel as high as they could be. I didn't think that woman was really going to kill her. And the Dean is forced to let Marlene go, but Chrissy pulls out a hidden knife, stabs Sally, and cuts Sam loose. And Sam takes out Marlene.
To a nice dinner?
That's right. No, the opposite. And Dean doesn't do anything. He just kind of sits there with his knife. But he's
pooped.
He's really tired in this episode. He says he's super tired. He's not been sleeping, and Bobby died. So later, the boys go to the hospital to check on Lee. They try to convince him to quit hunting for Chrissy's sake. Chrissy tells Dean she's going to give up hunting and try college. There was a moment there where she's like, Dean, and Sam's there too. I feel like she had a connection with Sam early on. He's the first one that really came after her. But she just kind of lets Sam go and kind of waves from the car. But
yeah, I know she really, in the world of bonding, she picked Dean.
Yeah.
But theoretically, they were in the car together for umpteen hours. So
I guess so, yeah. In the car, Sam says the best way to get over Bobby is to get back to work. Dean, taking some advice from Frank, tries to force a smile through his pain, which I thought was a really cool shot and a really cool way to end it. And
it lingered, which I kind of dug.
Yeah.
A long edit on that, just holding on Dean, on Jensen acting through the moment with no dialogue and just Dear Mr. Fantasy playing, and I thought it was really cool.
Holding on Dean is the name of your SPN fan book that you're working on, right?
Holding on Dean.
So I did take Rob's stupid notes for this one.
Rob's dumb notes. I really hate them. Yeah, Rob's dumb notes. I wish he ate them. Yeah, Rob's dumb notes are going to come to us right now.
So it really struck me in this episode that like we really kind of hit a nice, like, found their groove. They found their groove for season 7. Like, I really liked 709. I like 710. I like this one. It's really, honestly, I don't feel like in season 6 we had this many good ones in a row, but I like this episode. To me, like, if you just turn this on, you've never seen it before, like, this is season 7 of a show that's still firing on all cylinders. And I like that it's a show that only has 2 regulars, right? Any other show that's been on for this long, you've got a cast of 6 or 7. And they do a really good job of bringing in new people and making them a part of the show for
they do
small periods of time.
Like bringing in the character of Frank.
Exactly.
Perfect example.
Exactly.
And they bring in a character of Frank played by, multi-decade veteran Kevin McNally, who just swings for the fences. So it's so good.
Yeah.
Like it makes you watch a show that has 7 leads and think that the writers have it easy. 'Cause
Exactly.
They can just
Exactly.
follow 7 different threads whenever they want.
Exactly. And
They don't, of course. No offense to writers. I know it's very hard, but I'm just
and
saying.
710, it was like such Jim Beaver's episode. Like everybody kind of gets the guest stars, who are all really good, like gets their moment. And the writers on this show are so good. Like I was thinking, like it's like watching the Dodgers, and like every pitcher is like a solid pitcher. You're like, oh, who do we have this game? Oh, that's another great pitcher. Like this, Adam Glass wrote this one. It's just like everyone, you're like, this is going to be good. And this was, of course, directed by our old pal, rest in peace,
Jeannot.
Jeannot.
You know him?
Swark.
You love him. Jeannot.
Oh, it was funny when the actress girl says, well, your brother's the size of a car.
Yeah.
Like she was saying something. I thought that was really funny.
That's funny.
Also, makes me laugh sometimes, the CW casting. Like everyone is like kind of young, hot. There's nobody like the prostitute vampire woman is like hot.
Yeah.
Like, but he's even said something about her being older. She's not. She's like 30 and she's hot, and the waitress hot. And the doctor in 710 was a good looking younger guy. Everybody's sort of young and good looking. There's no like,
Yeah, it's like 37 is ancient.
yeah. That's why, some of the older actors they get to play the guest stars like Kevin McNally is so great.
Yeah.
Not that he was old. But
a
older,
veteran actor to be certain.
Older than the doctor.
Yeah.
All right, that's all I got.
Well, dude, I mean, there's I agree with you on so many fronts. I think that 7 is finally, and knock on wood, kind of cruising here. Like it's good, and I'm digging it. And you and I have given some good reviews, and tonally, again, it was a very different start to a season, and it has sort of landed in a really cool place.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know one of my nitpicky things?
What?
Supernatural doesn't do a lot of speed change in their footage. They don't do a lot of slow motion, especially in fights. And to your point, in the standoff at the end with the fight with the young girl being held by the Tala, Sally,
slow motion thing.
Then they cut to a slow motion thing where Sam whipped the woman around, and just so not the style of the show.
Yeah.
Usually the show is way more violent than that. You don't need the slow mo. Like you just, it's all like whip, jump, stab.
Yeah.
And I thought that was, again, a Jeannot choice, which I respect taking chances. You know what I mean? He took a chance on that last shot of Dean, and it works beautifully.
Yeah.
So, that's way longer than you would usually hold on that shot, and it's great.
Yeah.
So, he did some great stuff. That one beat was a little bit like, oh, interesting,
Yeah.
Didn't hate it. It just felt a little tonally different than what we're used to.
Yeah, somehow it missed the stakes on that one, but yeah.
Well, I thought, what I thought, and you and I can probably guess what this is. Honestly, I think they probably ran out of time doing this scene because Dean gets the knife taken away with like one hit, which is like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right.
That never happens.
Yeah.
And then to your point, it was a little paint by numbers. Some things felt too easy in that confrontation.
Yeah. I
Physically, and the great acting, but the physical ballet of it felt too simple.
Yep. Absolutely. No, it was literally like blocking stuff. I think could have.
Yeah, you're right on the money with that.
Yeah, and they and you're right. It's time.
That's my guess.
Yeah,
because I've been a part of those where I'm in a fight. And they're like, "Yeah, you're going to swing at him, and then he's going to fall." I'm like, "That's it."
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, totally.
Like, yeah, dude, I'd love to do more, but lunch is in 15.
Exactly. So just drop.
Yeah, and Phil Segrees is over the monitor stroking his goatee. We got to get the hell out of here.
Exactly. So what'd you think? Maybe we should get into the R of it all.
All right. Well, I guess then the appropriate thing to do would be for me to say, R, Rob and Rich. Ratings.
We're back to not hearing that stuff. So funny.
Yeah. Well, dude, it's a solid episode.
Solid episode.
I'm going off script here. It's a great episode. And as a tribute to one of the people in the episode, I'm going to give this episode a Josh and Me Gibbs, which are the massive sideburns that Kevin McNally wears in Pirates of the Caribbean. They're huge and go down to his chin like, a Civil War general or whatever. So they're huge, they're fluffy, they're big, they're period piece, period appropriate, and
but not all
manly. They don't connect to make a full beard. There's like an inch left.
So there's still missing for you.
Yeah, it's just one little one 2 inches shy of a big full beard, but it's glorious and great and blows in the wind when you're at sea. They're just magnificent, and he wears them well. So I'm giving them the I'm giving this episode the Josh and Me Gibbs, which are the giant. I wouldn't even say mutton chops because it's basically a beard that just has one strip shaved down the middle. The almost beard worn by Kevin McNally in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
It's called the Josh Me Gibbs.
Yeah, because that's his character name. The character Josh and Me Gibbs.
Oh.
We can call it the Mr. Gibbs to simplify it.
Okay.
I've given it the Mr. Gibbs.
Okay, I appreciate that. That's a lot better than...
He has the same birthday as my wife, April 27th.
There you go. Okay, I'm going to give it, just because I'd like to mix up, I'm going to give this a Michael McDonald. Michael McDonald classic beard from the 80s, 70s, and 80s.
I don't love anymore. I keep forgetting.
Yeah, a singer for the Doobie Brothers. Did a great solo career, guested on a lot of other songs.
Hey, ask me if I'm going to be in New Jersey this weekend.
Are you going to be in New Jersey this weekend?
Yeah, I'm going to be there.
What's his In the City song? Isn't there an In the City song?
Yeah. Oh, it's the
In the City. No, what is it? Anyway, he's such a talent. I love him. I really love his voice so much. One of the best voices in rock and roll. And
taking it to the streets.
Taking it to the streets. All the
you
people
don't know me, but I'm your brother.
So good. And so he's another beard that I really that's just a classic beard. And
hey, Robbie, should we do the interview and the rest of the episode is Michael McDonald?
Not really, but the no, but
are you sure, Robbie?
His beard, you can almost hear his beard in his singing. It's over his lips a little bit. And so does he need a trim? Sure, maybe a little bit. But other than that, it's a pretty damn near...
I think you need to steer people to the Rick Moranis sketch about Michael McDonald.
Yeah,
that's so funny
good.
From SCTV.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Well, that's awesome. So this is very unique. We got a Mr. Gibbs and a Michael McDonald.
Yeah, I don't think anyone saw Mr. Gibbs coming.
I don't think anybody saw Michael McDonald coming.
Yeah, maybe Barry Gibb. Barry Gibb's pissed.
Barry Gibb is going what's wrong with my beard?
Exactly.
Why haven't I gotten a ranking yet?
Speaking of all things Gibb, our interview today is with a star of film, TV, and stage, Kevin McNally, the one and only. We are so fortunate to have Kevin as a guest. He portrayed Frank Devereaux in 4 episodes of Supernatural. And this guy has an incredible resume that contains everything from Doctor Who to Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, where he played Mr. Gibbs.
To King Lear to Downton Abbey.
Where he did not play Mr. Gibbs.
No. Nevertheless, he is Kevin McNally, and this is our conversation with Kevin.
Kevin, thank you so much for doing this, man. I really appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure, man.
I've tried to think, when's the last time we all physically saw you at a convention? It's been a minute.
I tell you when it was. It was somewhere in Germany.
Okay.
Over 7 years ago.
Right. You know what's funny? Is
Wow.
that must be where because at some point you and I believe Katie, your niece,
Yeah.
and maybe your wife or somebody, we all went to dinner with Matt Cohen, and I thought you were there, Rob, but you say you weren't. And we went to some old pub or old.
Well, that was with Katie. That was actually in England, but then I went to one in Germany
Right.
with my daughter Rachel. And
Okay.
that was
Yes.
fun, yeah.
Gotcha.
I saw you there.
I'm combining things, but we went to dinner and it was awesome. It's some old.
It was great.
Anyway, dude, it's so awesome
Yeah,
to
it's
have you on the
great.
show. Aside from the fact that love seeing you personally, but you're so good in the show.
Oh, well,
And so I got to
thank
tell you a little pregame about Rob and me. Obviously, we're on the show,
Yeah.
and I directed a bunch of them. But
you. Right.
and this is true. We didn't watch all of them, so we are now watching them all in order.
Brilliant.
So having known you and befriended you and worked with you in conventions has been delightful. But we're just now
Yeah.
seeing your work in the show.
It's really
great.
fantastic.
Yeah, man.
It was a fantastic role. And the funny thing about it was, I'm not a big TV watcher. And so I really wasn't aware of the show. And I don't think it's aimed at men of my age anyway. So
Right.
I did it and I thought, well, this is fun. And it wasn't till I came home and the show came out and I was being screamed at by people in the street. shouting Frank Devereaux, that I realized what a massive, massive show it was.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
I still now, when I'm at conventions, the top three are Pirates of the Caribbean, Doctor Who, and Supernatural.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
No, it's really good. It's really good.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying the episode, but we need to pull over for a second for some messages. And also, I have to tinkle. Hey, everybody, it's Rob. You know when a new piece of clothing just becomes your go-to? Like maybe a new shirt? That's what happened for me when I picked up a few items from Quince. It's the first thing I reach for in my closet because they're lightweight, they're comfortable, and they're always on point. And I like to be on point. I don't like to be off the point. Quince has all the things you actually want to wear, like organic cotton silk polos or European linen beach shorts or comfortable pants that work with everything, from backyard hangs to nice dinners. Oh, I loves me a good backyard hang. The best part? Everything with Quince is priced like 50 to 80% of what it normally would be with similar brands. The price is ridiculous. And it's really well made. They work directly with top artisans and they cut out the middleman. So it gives you like luxury pieces without the crazy markups. And Quince only works with factories that are safe, ethical, and responsible. And they use premium fabrics and finishes. I'm telling you, it's a great product and it's a great price. And I just got myself a nice short sleeve white linen shirt from Quince that I wore last week at the convention in Minneapolis. For anyone playing along at home, if you saw me, then you know that I looked stylish without trying too hard. There was something just cool about it. I felt cool wearing it. So elevate your closet with Quince. Go to quince.com/STN for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/STN to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/STN.
Hey, yo, Rich Spade here. Summer is just around the corner, and the fine folks at Mint Mobile have a hot take. Getting a summer bod is out, and getting your savings bod is in. This spring and summer, we want skimpy wireless bills and fat wallets. And with premium wireless plans for just $15 a month, you can have both without breaking a sweat or the bank. Let me tell you something. Mint Mobile Wireless is top shelf. Connections are great. Calls are clear. Internet connections are zippy as heck. The whole family loves it. And man, are you saving some serious money because you're not handing over heaps of cash every month. Only pay for what you need. Only pay for what you use. Say bye-bye to your overpriced wireless plans, jaw-dropping monthly bills, and unexpected overages. Mint Mobile is here to rescue you. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text, or high-speed data if you're one of those people, and unlimited talk and text, delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your own phone number along with all your existing contacts. How easy is that? Ditch overpriced wireless and get 3 months of premium wireless service from Mint Mobile for $15 a month. You heard that right. It's $15 a month for the first 3 months. Good grief, that's low. So I'm telling you, this is the year. You skip breaking a sweat and breaking the bank. Get your summer savings and shop premium wireless plans at mintmobile.com/supernatural. That's mintmobile.com/supernatural. Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, 5 gigabyte plan required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
Thanks for listening, everybody. And now back to the episode.
How did the part come to you? Did you know somebody in the production that they offered it to you or that you'd worked with before?
No, I am thinking back. I think maybe I was sitting in the Hollywood Hills trying to write my novel, as usual. And somebody said, "Oh, would you just read this quickly?" And they offered me the part. I mean, I just loved it from the, you know, as actors, when when you read a part, sometimes you think, oh, well, I can do this, but sometimes it just leaps out at you and you go, I know exactly how to do that. And it was
Right.
one of those.
Right.
So it was just such fun, and working with all you guys was such fun. I also was warned that the boys could be a bit pranky, so I got in first with them.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, tell that story.
Well, one of the early days we were filming. We were in a field somewhere, supposed to be putting up surveillance cameras, and one of the boys, I can't remember which one it was now.
It would have been Ackles.
It was Jensen. And he was up the top of this huge thing on top of a lorry, and he was trying to do this stuff. And so I just started kicking the van, and he was going back and forward, and I was saying, "You're not going to prank me now, are you, boys? You're not going to prank me." And I was immune from then on because I saved his life. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, that's in this episode we're talking about right now.
Yeah,
where he's up on the. You guys are really funny.
Exactly.
You guys could be in a spin-off together. Those two characters were very funny.
It's so funny. You guys are so funny together.
We had such a good time doing it because, both of the characters were quite extreme, but also, what was lovely about the writing is it had some really moving moments. I know that Jensen and I had a great scene about why I was doing what I was doing because of the death of my family, and I found that incredibly moving.
No, they gave Frank a backstory, or at least the glimmer of a backstory, which, as you know, as a massive veteran as you are to TV and movies, that if you're a guest star, you don't always get that.
No, exactly.
They save that for number 1 and 2 and 3, and so that's where Supernatural, I think, made a strategic and correct move, which was give some gravitas to the people who are there to support the story.
Yeah, exactly. And I very much felt that from day one. My first scene, it captured me completely. Just being this old guy with these two young fellas and just having a gun on them, and threat.
It was great. Your character introduction goes up there among one of my favorites.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's not just they wrote it for you. I think it was a Ben Edlund script, right?
Yeah,
first,
it was,
Frank,
really
Deborah.
good.
So you got one of the greats, right? But you had this great character intro. I don't know who directed it, but it was blocked for you. Meaning, it served your character well, the way they had you set up and seated and around all the crap.
It really did. And what was great about the writing and the production was that I really felt that people had picked up on it. And in the later 3 episodes, they really took him to an extreme with his bizarreness, And I said, bring it on. Let's have more. It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
To that point, there was some stuff in this episode that I'm like, I thought the same thing, Kevin. I was sitting there going, oh, they obviously had Kevin come in. Kevin did what Kevin does. And they're like, well, let's lean in. Because the dialogue in this episode, it got more complex. Yeah. It got more detailed where you're rattling off like nuanced minutia about the search and all this stuff. That doesn't just sound like they Googled computer lingo and put it in there. It's well thought
really
out
is.
and character driven.
One of the problems when you come in and do a few episodes on a well-established show is that you carry a lot of exposition. And I really never felt that I was throwing that stuff out there. I really felt that he was speaking from the heart and that he wasn't just filling in some gaps that the story had left behind,
Yeah.
So I
agree.
Terrific writing and wonderful directors. And I got to work with Jano Schwark, who I hadn't worked for 20 years.
Oh, you'd worked with him before?
Yeah, I'd done a movie with him in '82 with Martin Sheen, and we got on really well. And so to see him again was terrific. And we went out and had some nice dinners, reminiscing about old times. It was great.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So I'm fascinated by this. I want to. We have more questions for you, but I want to stay on your arrival to the show real quickly, because when I met you, I was like, hi, how are you? And then turned away and was like, holy shit, it's a Pirates of the Caribbean guy. Like, you were already a huge movie icon from that franchise when you did this show.
Well, it was a pretty big franchise.
Yeah. So, and you're like huge in it. So I guess my question would be, this is an American TV show that you didn't know. Was there any part of you that was like, nah, what helps you tip the scales? Because obviously it wasn't it would just be because you love the show or love the character, right? I assume.
I think it's because of Pirates of the Caribbean that I leapt at it, because when you do something as particular as that, particularly as a character supporting actor, I thought, is this going to be me now forever just with this? So when such a rich and varied guest spot came up on a, and particular the genre I like, I love horror, I love fantasy, I love sci-fi.
Oh, cool.
When something came up there, I thought, well, this is something in the other side of the scale now. This is something that possibly could really balance this out. And indeed it has, which is why I say, I always count at the end of a convention, which I've sold most. Is it Doctor Who, Supernatural, or Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yeah.
So I knew that I needed to play some more really rich, detailed characters so that I wasn't merely identified with the one. Yeah.
Well, it's so good for you, man, because plenty of actors in your spot would have just turned their nose up at this. They would have gone like, nah, I'm above this.
Well, I think the moment an actor takes that attitude, that they're over, really.
Well said.
Because you can't get that up yourself,
Yeah.
You want to keep working the rest of your life, then find those parts that you're going to be interested in playing, that people are going to respond well to. You can't just ride off the back of the same old stuff. It's a waste of time, and it's boring, but to say nothing else,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's you obviously love it, which it shows. And I will say also, as somebody, Rob and I both bamboozled by your performance in this episode, or all the episodes, you are 100% different than the other stuff I have seen you do as Frank. Like, you really made a bunch of different choices, including your American accent, which is perfect.
Well, it's interesting that, because when I first went to America after the success of Pirates and lived there and started to get TV work, I said to myself, what I must do is only play Americans, because if I get known for having an English voice, I will only play Romans and Nazis. I will only be asked to persecute people. So I decided that I have since broken that rule since, but
that's hilarious.
I just wanted to work in America as an American actor, because you don't forget, one of the reasons why some of us can do a good American accent is because we grew up in American cinema.
Right.
And so I wanted to be James Cagney. I wanted to be Humphrey Bogart. I wanted to be an American actor. I didn't want to be a British theatre actor going in and doing all this sort of stuff, So yeah. I did that to the best of my ability, and fortunately it worked out. I'm not too bad at accents. I have a story for you, actually, that the greatest compliment I ever had about accents was I went over to Dublin to do a film with Joan Allen about 20 years ago. And it was to play an Irish role. And although I'm of Irish heritage, I plainly am a Brit. So I thought, well, I don't want all the Irish actors to think, what the hell is this Brit doing here, playing our parts. So I decided to speak in an Irish accent the whole time. And I didn't let anybody know. And even when I went out to dinner with people, went out for a drink, I kept the Irish accent up.
Wow.
2 years later, I got very friendly on the film with the lighting cameraman. And 2 years later, he came over to England and was lighting a show I was doing where I was playing an Englishman. And he took me aside on the first day and he said, Kevin, I've got to tell you, your English accent is shit. And I thought it was the greatest compliment I'd ever had. He genuinely believed that I was, born and bred Dublin.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
I've never had any.
Also, don't hire him as a dialect coach.
But there you go.
So, Kevin, as we said, you really elevate the episode.
Oh my gosh!
And one of the things I really love about your character is that he's so surly. He seems to understand his paternal role with the boys, but I love the litany of condescending nicknames you have for Dean.
Oh,
now was any of that like Cupcake, Grasshopper?
No, they were all in the script.
They're all in the script, eh?
Listen, Cupcake.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm signing, I always sign the. Hi, lovely to meet you, Cupcake.
Oh, that's funny.
Kelly, Frank Devereaux. Yeah, they love that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it's so lovely when a writer gifts you something as broad as that.
Yeah.
So you can go, well, they're going to get used to it, and I can just get bigger and bigger with it,
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Buster Brown. I think
Which I love Buster Brown.
Yeah, listen, Buster
which
Brown.
is unless there's some other reference, it's shoes.
It's
an old shoe company from when I was a kid.
It's not that it doesn't exist anymore, but in America it was an old shoe
shoes
company. Yeah.
Is that what it is? Well, what I love about it is I knew it from it might have been Family Guy or it might have been The Simpsons. Just cool your heels, Buster Brown. When somebody's getting out of I didn't know it was anything to do with shoes.
That's probably the cool your heels part is Buster Brown because it's a shoe reference because it is
right.
It literally is an old American shoe company.
Brown. It's all making sense now. So not only are they getting a fantastic podcast, but
we're learning something.
American.
Well, everybody under 40 is fast forwarding the podcast right now. Like nobody cares, Pops, which is what they say about most of my stuff. So did you know that Frank was going to be a recurring character, or did you go in thinking you were a one and done guy?
I thought it was one and done. And what was interesting about that is after I finished, I had loads of people on social media saying, was he killed by the Leviathans? And I went, oh, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think he was. And then it was only when the series finished, I put out a thing to all my fans saying, yep, I guess he was killed by the Leviathans because I haven't been.
So he never comes back after season 7, huh?
No.
Oh, bummer.
He's genuinely, well, I shouldn't give the game away, but Jansen goes in there and it's covered in blood. And we all thought it was a cover to try to get away from the Leviathans. But for some reason, they didn't get around to bringing me back.
Well, did you, are you friendly with, or do you remember Phil Segresha? Did he ever direct you on the show? He was the kind of the de facto producing director on the show.
I think he did my last.
So he's a huge fan of the character and you. And for years, when I started directing, there was always this dangling in the production office, this how do we bring Frank back sort of balloon in his office about like he had these ideas like, oh, Frank will come back and do this and that. And they had that with about 5 characters that existed over the life of the series that they're like, okay, we want to find a way to get these guys back in. And
I get that, but in a funny way. I mean, I wasn't upset by it. I thought, well, in a way, Frank has done his thing. And in a way, to be brought back in some sort of dilute or lukewarm way would have spoiled it for me. But that big whack of those 4 episodes made me very happy. And so I was very happy to leave it.
That's good.
Well, certainly a very crisp and delineated footprint that you left, which is awesome.
Well, thank you. And you're right, because people still come up to me today and
it's amazing
and want to talk about Frank. It's so terrific when things like that stick with you, because you can go on. As you know, Richard, we can go on for years, and unless you get attached to something like these things, you can go on and nobody knows who the hell you are, nobody's seen you. You can make a living and drift on, but when something like this occurs, and it's happened to me about 3 or 4 times in my career, you just think I'm so grateful for it.
I agree.
Kevin, real quick, did you ever work with Mark Shepard?
No, never did. I see Mark at conventions. Mark. So funny. The first time I met Mark, this is how it went. He went, hello, Kevin. Nice to meet you. You're English again. You work in America, don't you? He said, how come I'm so much more successful than you? I went, I'm in Pirates of the Caribbean, you bastard.
That's such a Mark question, too, by the way.
It really is, isn't it? But I saw him recently, actually, and he'd had a bit of a health problem and he was looking really well. And it was lovely to say hello to him again.
Yeah.
That's always our banter now. Yeah. I always say to him, I say, how come I'm so much more successful than you?
I don't know why it struck me as something in this episode when I was watching you that it would have been interesting to have your characters face off.
Oh, dude. Can you imagine like a showdown between Frank and Crowley? Oh, my God.
Yeah, it would have been great. And maybe that would have been the thing that could have brought us back. But as you say, Richard, there were probably a lot of characters like that and a big turnover.
They had a handful, but they were just, they almost had too many great ingredients for their bowl of soup. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As they narrowed the show towards the end.
But also in a way, they brought
Bobby, Jim Beaver, yeah.
So Bobby had died and I came back in. But when they brought Bobby back, I think maybe it would have been 2 people doing the same thing. So I don't
Too many dads.
Too many dads, indeed.
There's the spinoff.
That's the show.
You talk about the fact that fans, your role left a lot with the fans, and that is obviously very true. What did the show leave with you? What, and your very long and storied career, what has stuck with you about your Supernatural experience?
What I really enjoyed about it was, apart from the fact that it was the first time really that I'd been involved in something that's a program like what I want to see, if that makes sense. Because it was, I think, apart from a failed pilot, I think it was the first show I did in America. I think it was the first nice part that I got. So I was very pleased to get to know the way American television worked. And it's so efficient, and people are so good and so kind and so helpful that it really gave me a great start in American television. And I have to say my experiences since have been equally marvelous. But that's only because I don't allow any assholes on the set.
Smart move.
Good.
Well, then I guess I won't be on your set.
Yeah.
It's official. It's official.
I'll
You'll never work with
with
Rich.
Kevin McNally.
Well, unless you change your bloody attitude, Richard.
Good point. I could. Back to therapy I go.
That's fantastic, Kevin. It's good. It's so fun to talk to you. It's inspiring. And
Yeah, dude, it's just great to
really,
get your perspective
honestly.
on many things. The show being the one of them, but also just everything, man. You're just a delightful guy to have on the show.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for your thoughtful responses too, man. This has been a great conversation.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Kevin, do you have any conventions coming up? Do you know?
I don't at the moment. My mind hasn't really been on that because I've been working on these projects that I want to do. But I know they'll come in, and I'll just pop off and do them.
Yeah.
It'll
Well,
be
hopefully we can cross paths,
we'll see
man.
you at one of these. Yeah.
Oh, I hope so. Get me on those Supernatural conventions. I haven't done one in ages.
Yeah, we'd love to, because selfishly, we'd love to continue this conversation over a pint in a pub. So
Yeah.
I think we should.
Yeah. Good.
thanks, buddy.
Good deal.
Thank you.
Hey there, it's Misha Collins. I'm glad you're listening. This is exciting for me because I too am catching up on Supernatural. Stick around. We're going to bring you these important messages.
You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Progressive loves to help people make smart choices. That's why they offer a tool called Auto Quote Explorer that allows you to compare your Progressive car insurance quote with rates from other companies. So you save time on the research and can enjoy savings when you choose the best rate for you. Give it a try after this episode at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy. If you've ever shopped online, and let's face it, who hasn't? Chances are you've bought something from a business powered by Shopify. You know that purple Shop Pay button you see at checkout? The one that makes buying so incredibly easy? That's Shopify. And there's a reason so many businesses sell with it, because Shopify makes things easier, and not just for shoppers. They make it easy to start and run your business. Shopify is the commerce platform behind 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands just getting started. It gives you a leg up from day dot, with hundreds of beautiful ready-to-go templates to express your brand style so you can get up and running fast. You can tackle your important tasks, from inventory to payments to analytics and more, all in one place. You can also spread your brand's word with built-in marketing and email tools built for you to find and keep new customers. And remember that iconic purple Shop Pay button that's used by millions of businesses around the world? It's why Shopify has the best converting checkout on the planet. Your customers already know and love it. If you want to see less carts being abandoned, it's time for you to head over to Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/realm. Go to shopify.com/realm. Shopify.com/realm.
Hey, guess what? We're back.
Well, I don't know how much more delightful that could have been. You know what I mean?
Oh man, it really makes me want to hang out with him more.
Dude, I mean, can you imagine having that conversation with that man over a pint or two? Or in your
Yes,
case,
I would come.
You could watch me have a pint.
I will come off the wagon to have a pint with you and him.
All right.
And talk shop. So that was really great.
Yeah, just a great storyteller, great interview, and just a great guy, man.
Terrific, just terrific.
And so good, by the way. And I know, just to geek out a little bit, before I met him, before I knew he was involved in Supernatural, all that, he was
You like Pirates of the Caribbean?
my second favorite guy. Like, it was Johnny Depp and him. Were like, he's so good in this series of movies.
You mean in general, that was your, like, if you came to your bedroom, you've got posters of Johnny Depp, and then you had a real
Mr. Gibbs?
little section.
I have a lot of Mr. Gibbs, and then
Okay.
I went as Mr. Gibbs
Wow.
for Halloween with my paste on fake
Wow.
sort of.
I just
jumbo
laugh at you.
mutton
Like,
chops.
for me, it was always Johnny Depp first Johnny Depp,
Mr. Gibbs,
and then Kevin McNally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly, and then Keira Knightley. You know.
Yeah. Just as a kid, it was Johnny
Yeah.
Depp. Anything Johnny.
And this is where Rob and I have always it's a bit of a bone of contention, but also it makes us work well together. Big Orlando Bloom guy, Rob. Like, it's all Bloom this, Bloom that, Mr. and Mrs.
Bloomity
Bloom.
Bloom.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like,
They used to call me Bloom Benedict.
I will say this: Keira Knightley in that first Pirates of the Caribbean movie, maybe the best looking mammal I've ever seen in my life. And I wonder what that. I should have asked that question. What was it like?
Don't say mammal.
I mean, because she was just perfect.
I know when you say mammal, it just.
I was trying to be all encompassing, all things.
I know, but in doing so, you somehow got
demeaned
real
it.
creepy, real creepy, like a serial killer. She's a fine-looking mammal.
Well, when I scribble that in crayon on the note that I'm going to write her, I'm sure she'll appreciate it.
When you cut out the words
Yeah.
from a newspaper. Okay, let's get into the next part of the podcast, which is called Mythology.
Is it? Okay, I guess we can go with that. That means I must say mythology.
Okay, so Mr. Man, tell us about Vitala.
Vitala is a chicken dish made with curry spices, cream sauce, coconut, and turmeric.
Wait, I thought it was a singing act from the 60s.
It is both things. That's where the band got their name from the chicken dish, because that's right. To be in the band, you had to be a spicy bird.
Gotcha.
That's why it had all good-looking girls in it.
Got
See what I'm
it.
saying?
Got it.
There's the correlation.
The Vitalas,
Yeah.
they're all just singing.
Anyway, that's all the
birds.
time we have for our podcast. Thanks for listening, everybody. Okay. Another definition of Vitala, aside from the singing group and chicken dish, is that it is a supernatural being from Hindu mythology and Indian folklore, often depicted as a vampire-like spirit that inhabits corpses. Their powers also include shape-shifting and super strength. They are known to be tricksters, too.
Look, there's another trickster in town.
Look who else is a hot woman. Me.
Hey, question though. It was in the episode, they look like snakes. Like her eyes went cat-like,
Yeah, cat-like, yeah.
and their teeth were snake-like.
Oh,
I see nothing
yeah,
in here about
yeah,
snakes.
I mean, the teeth are trippy. It's like they didn't want to step on the vampire's toes in the
Right.
designing of the teeth, but
Right. Well, the Vitalas appear prominently in ancient Sanskrit literature, as you well know, Rich.
Duh.
And they're especially known through the Vitala Panchavimshati. Panchavimshati, translated as 25 Tales of the Vitala, or Baital Pashisi. Why didn't I have Rich read this paragraph? A collection of stories framed around King Vikramaditya and the Vitala.
I'm so glad you didn't lob this my way, because you always do.
I do. I always love it your way.
I know.
Uh,
Ha ha ha.
Well, the most famous of the stories goes a little something like this, Rich.
King Vikramaditya is tasked with capturing a Vitala who tells a riddle-based story each time he is captured. Thrice say I, yet have I none.
That's his riddle.
The Vitala poses a moral or philosophical question at the end of each tale. If it is true, then how thusly? If Vikram knows the answer and remains silent, his head will explode. If he
Oh.
speaks, the Vitala escapes and returns to his tree, in which he resides. The cycle is repeated not once, not twice, not thrice, but 25 times.
25 times.
Stories explore themes of righteousness, wisdom, and justice.
Wow.
Sounds like a real pill.
Yeah, jeez.
25 questions from this a-hole before he gets back in his tree. Pass. Hard pass.
Also, exploding heads. That's pretty violent.
Great band, though.
Yeah, exploding heads. Great band. Wow. Well, thank you for that story.
You're welcome.
That
It's
was
just off
lovely.
the cuff. Just kind of
Yeah.
telling you what I know.
Well, you're such a storyteller.
You know what's also fun?
What?
Facts. Fun facts! Fun facts! Fun facts! sex.
The title of this episode comes from the 1987 film featuring Richard's crush Elizabeth Shue, Adventures in Babysitting.
Oh, I didn't know she was in that movie.
Yeah, turns out she is.
Writer Adam Glass said the film True Grit was the inspiration for this episode. Oh, interesting. Because the little girl.
Oh, right, of course. The original True Grit is probably what he's talking about.
Yeah, but I mean, both have the story of the girl needing help.
You know what's funny is this girl reminded me of the girl in the Coen Brothers True Grit.
In the remake of True Grit. And the John Wayne version is obviously great. Man, the remake is phenomenal too.
Yeah. Well, and that girl is now still an actor. She's in Sinners, the girl from True Grit.
Oh my God!
That's the girl. Rich just figured that out.
Oh my God!
When Dean expresses frustration over not knowing what's being built in the field, Frank says, "Patience, Grasshopper." He is quoting Master Po in the 1970s martial arts TV Western Kung Fu.
Let me guess. David Carradine is also in Sinners.
No, but I like where you're going.
I just
David.
feel like now, oh my God, I cannot believe, and they do.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Sinners, by the way, I'm not even going to talk about it. Go watch Sinners.
Okay.
It's great.
Yeah.
I made Rob go watch at gunpoint, and he thanked me. He sent me a text thanking me.
I also, I said, if you ever point a gun at me again, I'm going to call the authorities.
Probably not necessary to get me to go to a movie. I'm a movie buff, he said, cinephile. But
I didn't realize that Master Po from the TV Western from the 70s called Kung Fu, which was remade, but the original was Kung Fu with David Carradine. Master Po, isn't that the name of Jack Black's character?
Yes.
What did Sarah Gamble say at the time?
I'm pretty sure I have this quote right. I think she said something along the lines of, for Frank, we needed somebody who was believable as a friend of Bobby's, was different from Bobby, but yet somehow more curmudgeonly.
Well, that makes sense. That's what he is.
I said that wrong. And they nailed it by casting Kevin McNally.
Nailed it. Well, what a lovely episode, a lovely interview with Kevin. And we unpacked a lot.
Dude, so much.
True Grit.
From your borderline obsession with Orlando Bloom to this revelation that girl is from True Grit is in Sinners.
Yeah, that's
the biggest takeaways from this episode have nothing to do with Supernatural.
Right. No, definitely your takeaways don't. Well, hopefully everyone listening got a little bit more out of it than just that.
I don't know what you could do. Erase the tape, Booty. Start the episode with those two revelations and then just end it.
Start here. Now.
Great episode. Season 7's cooking along. May they not disappoint. May they continue to do exactly what they're doing now. Right, Robert?
Indeed. And I know for a fact, a little spoiler alert, but we've got some really fun guest stars. That's all I'm going to say. We have some fun guest stars coming up.
Don't spoil it for me, please.
Stay tuned.
All right, we'll do it. See everybody.
All right. This episode of Supernatural features Jared Padalecki as Sam Winchester and Jensen Ackles as Dean Winchester.
Guest stars include Kevin McNally, Madison McLaughlin, Ian Tracy, Megan Ori, and Paula Lindberg.
Adventures in Babysitting was written by Adam Glass, directed by Jano Swark.
Editing by Anthony Pinker, music by Jay Gruska.
Executive produced by Robert Singer and Sarah Gamble.
Supernatural was created by Eric Kripke.
This episode featuring the following songs: Ridin' the Storm Out by REO Speedwagon and Dear Mr. Fantasy by Traffic.
This episode originally aired on January 6, 2012.
This episode of Supernatural Then and Now was hosted and executive produced by Richard Speight Jr. and Rob Benedict.
Produced by Stephen Hine. Written by Stephen Hine and Haida Holscher.
And edited and associate produced by Trey Booty.
What's up, Booty?
Music provided by Tim Wynn.
The episode was recorded with the help of Sonic Fuel Studios.
This podcast is from Story Mill Media.
Follow the podcast on Instagram and TikTok at SPN Then and Now.
And become a member of the podcast. Get early access, chat rooms with other podcast fans, and video interviews at patreon.com/SPN Then and Now. Hey, you ready for the summary for this episode?
No. Here's the thing, though. You know, I saw your face. You didn't know the girl had been replaced, did you?
I had to think about what you're talking about. No, I do know that. I just had to think for a second when you said girlfriend, because also we're doing a podcast right now, and all of this will be cut out. So
You don't know that.
Well,
By the way,
I do.
I listened to last week's podcast.
Yeah.
And there's a whole chunk of stuff where you go, and one more thing to get cut out. But it's in the podcast.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah, there's another, this is a random reference that you can cut out, but there's a band called Grizzly Bear that's a modern band. They've broken up now, but they were really big in the aughts and in the teens and in alternative rock and roll music, indie music. And they have this one song, and he must have been recording something else next door anyway. On the B side, he sings the song that's a Grizzly Bear song, and I gotta play it for you sometime. It's so awesome. He does a great job, and they would have done this in like 2007, 2008.
God, how did the Grizzly Bears get so lucky?
Yeah, Grizzly Bear, but yeah,
Holy cow!
that's her.
Dude, I knew she looked familiar the whole time.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
watching
that's a
True
great-
Grit, and I'm like, I know this actress.
You're watching Sinners.
Sorry, I was watching
You-
Sinners, and the whole time I was
Yeah.
thinking I'd recognize this girl. That's the little girl? She's too young to go in that juke joint.
No, she's of age now.
She should be with Jeff Bridges.
No, she's not. in
Oh,
that movie anymore.
no.
Yeah,
Oh,
different movie.
She's so little girl.
Yeah.
Just fighting to get back at the man who did her wrong.
Well,
Rowdy.
yeah, it's all of movies.
Ah!
But yeah, Haley Steinfeld.
Haley Grit.
Yeah. Anyway,
Haley
When
T.
d-
Grit.
I'm over here. I'm about to direct another little film. I've moved into directing now. So
oh, good for you.
yeah, it's good fun.
Oh, that's
Yeah, good
awesome.
fun. And
Great.
somebody asked me the other day, they said, I was directing my last film, and they said, did you become a director because of all the fantastic movie directors you've worked with? And I said, no, I became a director because of all the crap directors that I've worked with. You know, and I'd like to give someone...
I've used that exact quote before. I said I got into directing to be the director I never had.
Yeah.
You can have it.
I'm nicking that. I know, because you've directed for ages, haven't you? I mean, it's so interesting.
Dude, I love it. I mean, I'm in the TV space, but
Did you start on Supernatural?
I started in commercials, but my first,
Oh, okay.
actually the first episodic stuff I directed was with Rob. We did our own series,
Right.
a comedy series that's on Amazon Prime called Kings of Con, and
Oh, right.
that
yeah,
was
yeah.
comedy. So the first drama episodic was Supernatural.
Oh, brilliant. Well, Richard, it's been great to have you on the show. It's,
Just a couple more questions and we'll
Thank
let you
you.
go.
Let me tell you about my origin story. So Rob and I were dating in '83.
So,
No.
Story Mill Media.
On our podcast, Good Bad Billionaire, we explain how the world's billionaires made all their money.
Pop stars and tech titans, founders and filmmakers, inventors and investors, we cover them all. And for the first time, we're talking about a video game designer.
Yep, we're talking about Marcus Persson, the Swedish coding king who programmed the world's most successful game, Minecraft, all by himself.
He made $1 billion, but is he good, bad, or just another billionaire? Find out on Good Bad Billionaire. Listen on the BBC app or wherever you get your podcasts.
American history is full of infamous tales that continue to captivate audiences decades or even hundreds of years after they happened. On the Infamous America podcast, you'll hear the true stories of the Salem witch trials and the escape attempts from Alcatraz, of bank robbers like John Dillinger and Pretty Boy Floyd, of killers like Lizzie Borden and Charles Starkweather, of mysteries like the Black Dahlia and D.B. Cooper, and of events that inspired movies like Goodfellas, Killers of the Flower Moon, Zodiac, 8 Men Out, and many more. I'm Chris Wimmer. Join me as we crisscross the country from the Miami drug wars and Dixie Mafia in the South, to mobsters in Chicago and New York, to arsonists, kidnappers, and killers in California, to unsolved mysteries in the heartland and in remote corners of Alaska. Every episode features narrative writing and cinematic music, and there are hundreds of episodes available to binge. Find Infamous America wherever you get your podcasts.